In the name of Allah, the All-Beneficent, the Ever-Merciful, welcome to our series on the life of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, which is based on the incredible work of Dr. Syed Moustafa Al-Qazwini. Together, we're going to journey through his entire life, from his miraculous birth inside the Kaaba, all the way to his martyrdom. But before we can do any of that, we have to start at the very beginning and ask, what does Allah himself say about Imam Ali in his own words? You know, trying to speak about a personality like Imam Ali, well, it's a huge task. An Arab poet once put it beautifully. He said that praising Ali is like trying to praise the sun. No matter what you say, how eloquent you are, your words just fall short. It's a powerful image that really captures the sense of awe that surrounds him.
And this idea isn't just poetry. It's elevated to the level of prophecy. The Holy Prophet Muhammad himself reportedly told Imam Ali, "Only two were able to understand you, God and me." Now, that's more than just high praise. It's pointing to a spiritual station that is frankly beyond our normal human comprehension.
So, that leads us to a really important question. If his reality is that vast, that profound, where on earth do we even begin? How can any of us approach understanding a person who's described in such, transcendent terms?
Well, the answer is we go straight to the ultimate source, God's own words. Scholars have actually identified hundreds of verses in the Holy Qur'an that refer to Imam Ali's character, his sacrifices, and his spiritual station. So for this explainer, we're going to let the Qur'an itself be our guide.
Let's start with one of the most essential virtues in Islam, something foundational, selfless giving. And as we'll see, the Qur'an uses the example of Imam Ali to set the absolute highest standard for what charity and sacrifice truly mean.
I want you to just think about the number 4. Just 4 silver coins, 4 drams. It doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But in the hands of Imam Ali, this tiny amount became the cause for a divine revelation.
This beautiful verse from Surah Al-Baqarah was revealed to commemorate an absolutely incredible act. Imam Ali had only those 4 dirhams to his name, and he gave all of them to the poor. But it's how he gave them that is so amazing.
Just look at how complete this action was. He gave one by night and one by day, one in secret and one out in the open. He literally covered every possible circumstance of giving, leaving absolutely nothing for himself. It was a total act of selflessness.
But as incredible as giving all your wealth is, the Qur'an points us to an even higher level of sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, offering your own life.
This verse here immortalizes one of the most nail-biting critical moments in all of Islamic history, the night of the Hijrah, the migration. When assassins had the Prophet's house surrounded, ready to strike, Imam Ali slept in his bed, a willing shield offering his own life so the Prophet could escape safely. This is exactly what the Qur'an means when it talks about someone who sells himself. You give your entire being, your very soul, not for any worldly gain, but purely for the pleasure of God.
And it's this level of selfless devotion that really lays the foundation for his spiritual station. So let's move on to our second theme, how the Qur'an establishes Imam Ali's divinely granted authority, or what is known as Wilayah.
This verse is famously known as the verse of Wilayah, and the story behind it is just amazing. The tradition tells us that while Imam Ali was in the middle of his prayer, bowing in ruku, a beggar came into the mosque asking for help. Without missing a beat or breaking his prayer, Imam Ali simply gestured with his hand, allowing the man to take the ring right off his finger. An act of pure charity, right in the middle of an act of pure worship.
Now, that word wilayah is so crucial here. This isn't just about friendship or affection. We're talking about a divinely sanctioned authority, a spiritual guardianship. The verse is actually laying out for the believers who their legitimate leaders are.
And just notice the sequence that the Qur'an establishes. It's so deliberate. First God, second his apostle, and then third, immediately following them, is the one who gave charity while bowing. That structure isn't just a list. It elevates that single act into a powerful signifier of an incredible spiritual rank.
The spiritual authority is deeply, deeply connected to our final theme for today. Imam Ali's role is the custodian of divine knowledge. So how does the Qur'an bear witness to his position as the great preserver of the divine message?
In Surah Ar-Ra'd, at a time when the Prophet's message was being challenged, God revealed this verse, presenting 2 ultimate witnesses. The first witness is God himself, and the second, as so many commentators explain, is the one who possesses the knowledge of the book, and that is Imam Ali.
Okay,
Let's just pause on that for a second, because this is huge. God is placing the testimony of Imam Ali right alongside his own as being sufficient proof for all of mankind. This divine pairing raises his witness to the highest possible level. It makes him the foremost human guarantor of the revelation's truth.
But hang on. To be that kind of witness, to hold that kind of knowledge, you would need a truly unique, God-given ability to receive it and retain it perfectly. And guess what? The Quran talks about that too.
When this verse about a retaining, discerning ear was revealed, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, made a specific prayer. He asked Allah to make Imam Ali's ears these discerning ears, ears that could hear, understand, and never ever forget.
And the result of that prayer was nothing short of miraculous. Imam Ali himself would later state, "I never forgot anything." This wasn't just a sharp mind. This was a divine gift that made him the perfect vessel for preserving every word of the Quran and every teaching of the Prophet.
So when we step back and piece all these verses together, what we see is a portrait, painted by the Quran itself. We see the ultimate paradigm of selfless giving, the holder of divine authority, and the custodian of divine knowledge. His story isn't just a biography, it's woven into the very fabric of God's revelation. And that really leaves us with a final thought to reflect on. Knowing that the Quran itself celebrates these virtues, that it assigns this incredible station, how does that change or maybe deepen our own personal connection to the message that he spent his entire life protecting?
In our upcoming explainers, we are going to continue this amazing journey through the life of the Commander of the Faithful. Thank you so much for joining us, and may the peace and blessings of God be upon you all.
Faith Ed, wisdom worth sharing.